Have you ever opened a game, not because you actually wanted to play, but because you felt like you had to? Maybe there was a limited skin, a daily reward, a battle pass about to expire, an event with a countdown clock quietly telling you, log in, now, or lose this forever. And that's the trick. A lot of modern games don't just try to entertain you. They try to create urgency. They try to make absence feel dangerous. Because once a game makes you feel like missing one day means losing progress, status, rewards, or opportunity, it stops being just a game. It becomes pressure. That pressure has a name: FOMO, the fear of missing out, and in gaming it works incredibly well, because FOMO doesn't need to force you. It only needs to make you imagine the feeling of regret. That's why some players log in every day without even asking themselves if they still enjoy it. That's why people grind seasonal content they don't even like. And that's why limited-time systems have become one of the most powerful tools in modern game design. So in this video, we're breaking down how FOMO works in games, why it feels so effective, and what kinds of systems are specifically designed to keep you coming back before time runs out. Let's get into it. FOMO in games works because people hate losing opportunities more than they enjoy gaining rewards. That's the core of it. If a game says, here's a cool reward you can earn anytime, that feels optional. But if it says, you have 3 days left, suddenly it feels important. The reward may not have changed at all, but your brain has. Now it's no longer just about getting something. It's about not losing the chance to get it, and that emotional shift is incredibly powerful. Games use this all the time with seasonal skins, event missions, rotating shops, login rewards, battle pass deadlines, exclusive banners, holiday items, ranked rewards, and limited crossover content. Think about how often games say things like, available for a limited time, ends in 48 hours, exclusive season reward, last chance. Those phrases are not neutral. They are psychological triggers. They create urgency without directly forcing you. The game never says, you must play. It simply makes not playing feel like a mistake. And that matters, because people respond very strongly to the possibility of regret. If you can imagine your future self thinking, I should have logged in, then the system is already working. 1. Of the clearest examples is the daily login reward. On paper, it looks harmless. You log in, collect a reward, maybe get a streak bonus, and leave. But psychologically, it does something very smart. It turns one decision into a routine. You're no longer asking, do I want to play today? You're asking, do I really want to break my streak? That's a completely different question. A streak creates continuity. And once people build continuity, they become more protective of it. This is why missing one day can feel weirdly painful, even if the reward itself is tiny. The real loss isn't always the item, it's the broken pattern. Battle passes are another huge example of FOMO working almost perfectly, because a battle pass doesn't just give rewards, it gives rewards on a timer that changes everything. A normal progression system says, play when you want, progress when you can. A battle pass says, play consistently, or parts of this track may disappear forever. And suddenly, your free time starts competing with an artificial deadline. You may not even care that much about every reward in the pass, but if you already paid for it or already made progress, that pressure gets stronger. Now the thought becomes, I can't waste this. I already started. I'm too far in to stop now. That's where FOMO often mixes with sunk cost. Not only are you afraid of missing future rewards, you're also afraid that your past time or money will feel wasted. That combination is extremely effective. And then there are limited-time cosmetics, skins, emotes, icons, banners, event themes, things that often do nothing to gameplay but still feel incredibly valuable. Why? Because cosmetics are not just objects, they're social signals. They can show status, history, rarity, identity, taste, or dedication. Owning a rare skin can say, I was there. It can mean, I played during that event. It can mark you as an early player, a loyal player, or someone with something others can no longer get. And that's exactly why limited cosmetics are so powerful. They don't just sell appearance, they sell exclusivity. The game is not only offering you an item, it's offering you the chance to avoid being left out of a category of ownership. And once rarity becomes part of identity, FOMO gets even stronger. This is also why rotating shops work so well. A skin in a permanent shop can be ignored. A skin in a shop that disappears tomorrow suddenly feels urgent. Same item, different context, different emotional reaction. The timer creates value. Not real value, necessarily, but emotional value. And many games understand this perfectly. Fortnite, for example, helped normalize the idea that cosmetics, collaborations, and event items might only be available for a short time. That made checking the shop part of the routine for many players. Mobile games do this too, often even more aggressively. Limited banners, event currencies, login chains, flash offers, seasonal characters, all of them are built around making time feel scarce, and scarcity changes behavior. When people feel like something is disappearing, they become more impulsive. They stop asking, "Do I really need this?" and start asking, "What if I never get another chance?" That question is FOMO in its purest form. What makes all of this even more effective is that games often stack these systems together, not just one timer. Several. A daily reward, a weekly mission, a seasonal event, a rotating shop, a ranked split. Limited bundle. Each one is small on its own, but together they create a constant background pressure, and that pressure doesn't always feel dramatic. Sometimes it feels normal. That's the scary part. You don't think, "I'm being manipulated." You think, "I just need to log in for a bit." But just a bit, repeated every day, becomes a habit, and habit mixed with urgency becomes obligation. That's when the relationship with the game starts to shift. You're no longer only playing for fun. You're playing to avoid loss, and that can quietly drain the joy out of gaming. Because when every session is tied to fear of missing out, the experience becomes less about curiosity, challenge, or enjoyment, and more about maintenance. Checking in, keeping up, not falling behind. In other words, the game starts living in your head even when you're not playing it. Now, to be fair, not every timed event is evil. Limited events can create excitement. They can make a live game feel fresh, social, and alive. They can give players something special to look forward to. The problem starts when urgency becomes the main engine of engagement. When a game depends on pressure more than fun, FOMO stops being a bonus feature and becomes a retention strategy. And once you notice that, a lot of modern systems start looking very different. So why does FOMO work so well in games? Because it takes advantage of something deeply human: our fear of regret, our sensitivity to loss, our need for completion, and our discomfort with being left out. Games package those feelings into countdowns, streaks, seasons, and limited rewards. And the result is simple. You don't come back because you want to. You come back because not coming back feels worse. And that's what makes FOMO so effective, not because it creates desire, but because it creates pressure disguised as opportunity. If you've ever logged into a game just to claim something before it disappeared, then you've felt it, and once you start noticing FOMO, you'll see it everywhere, in battle passes, in login rewards, in event shops, in ranked seasons, in limited skins, in last chance offers. The systems may look different, but the message is always the same: come back now, or regret it later. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to Mental Hitbox for more videos on gaming psychology, manipulation in game design, dopamine loops, tilt, and the hidden systems that shape player behavior.